Hi, everybody. I want to talk today about what I think we might be able to do. Meaning, when I say we, I mean the general public, to avert things like conflagrations we don't want to be involved in. So it's too late for Iran. We're going to go to war with Iran. The powers that be have decided this. It doesn't matter that the public does not, for the most part, want war with Iran. It's totally irrelevant what the public wants. We see this over and over again. When corporate interests want one thing and the public wants something else, it doesn't even matter if there's a huge majority on the side of the public. The corporate interests are the ones that are supported by our government. They have to support those corporate interests because those corporate interests are the ones who are keeping them in office by donating tons and tons of money to their campaigns, which they need to be successful in their campaigns. So I want to talk about what can we do to affect this process, right? As I said, I think it's too late for Iran. We're going to be at war with them. It's going to be a total disaster, humanitarian disaster. It'll be a disaster for the U.S. Treasury. It'll be a disaster for our economy. And it will also be a disaster for the climate. I think the more control of the more fighting we do for oil and the more oil we have in our hands and that we use is, of course, worse for the environment, right? All of those things. But I want to talk about what we can do to put a stop to that, if there's anything we can do. One of the most important things, though, is kind of counterintuitive and really needs addressing. And so here's the idea. The people on the left who are similar to my political point of view need to perceive their enemy not as the Republicans, who those politicians are not affected by what I think or what my fellow constituents think. They're concerned with what the Republican voters think, right? So I can't really affect the behavior of Republican politicians, Republican legislators, executives. I have no power over them. I only have power over the people on the left. And we see, if we look, that the Democrat Party in particular has been as guilty, in my view, as guilty as the Republicans for of being in need and accepting those corporate dollars to finance their campaigns, and so therefore also are beholden to those interests. And those are the people that I vote for, who rely on my vote to be in power. And so on the Democrat side, I have to, in large part, stop perceiving my enemy as the right. We disagree with the right. We have ideological differences, but I can't affect their behavior. I can, however, have people like AOC in office instead of Charles Schumer or Nancy Pelosi, right? We don't want these folks who rely on corporate dollars to be making the decisions, because when that happens, we end up with tons of wars. We end up with support for the fossil fuel industry. We end up with a worsening climate change condition instead of a better one. So we need to perceive our enemies correctly. It's counterintuitive because I want to disagree with and fight against the Republicans and that whole point of view. But it's wasted effort to a large degree. And this same message is true on the Republican side, right? When they're angry at us, are our politicians, those politicians who ostensibly support our point of view, are they going to be affected at all by what the Republican constituencies think and want? I don't think so. They're not going to be reactive to them. The Republican electorate has to realize that those folks they need to focus on are the Republicans. They have to bring Republicans into office who are going to be responsible for separating corporate influence and elections. We have to have that separation. We have to have an end to Citizens United. And we have to be able to focus on the groups that we can affect. Right? We have to perceive the enemy correctly. So important, counterintuitive, but we have to fix our own backyards before we go and fix our neighbors. Good day.